talking about being a storytelling leader and the power of stories to both clarify vision and move people to action. And there are different kinds of stories we use as leaders. I'm just working on 4 in this short series: campfire stories, vision stories, iconic stories, and personal stories. I already talked a bit about vision stories and campfire stories. I want to talk about iconic stories today. Iconic stories capture the values, practices, experiences, and outcomes that you want for your team or group or organization. They crystallize in story form what you want to do and who you want to be and what it looks like when it's happening. These are very powerful. They not only help you know why you're doing something, they show why that you're doing something. And I like to do the show why part. My wife and I, like maybe many of you, have been watching a variety of series through the pandemic as entertainment for the evening. And we've been tracking with a particular series that involves an emergency room kind of environment in a hospital, and all the stories that are around that and the relationships and the different trauma needs that happen. And it's kind of a very cool show, and we've kind of hung in with it. One of the episodes, somebody near the end of the day who's had a really bad day and is kind of looking down on themselves and thinking they're doing anything right and does anything work around here. And no matter how hard we work, sometimes it just all is for nothing, it seems. It just seems for nothing. We work really hard on a particular patient and they pass away, or we can't solve their problem or whatever. And they're kind of in a funk. And the leader of the group right there, at least in the conversation, turns and says, "Let me show you something." And he said, "Look around." And the camera does a great job of slowly panning across the emergency room and the whole emergency department at work. And as the camera pans around, you see someone over here bringing someone in who's maybe a child. I don't remember all the little scenes, but who's kind of in pain but doesn't know why. And the family looks concerned. And over here is an elderly person being brought in on a cart, and they're being attended to. And someone else has got a broken arm, and they're sort of, you can see that gets casted, and they're on their way out. Like they've been served well, and they're headed out. Someone else is getting technical equipment brought around them, so CAT scans and x-rays can be taken right there on the spot. And it's just one scene after another as the camera pans. And it's emotional, frankly, to watch, because you see so many people getting served by so many people. And this person happens to be sort of the leader in the moment, says, "This is why. This is why you do what you do and I do what I do. And we might be having a bad day, but look around. It's like these people aren't having a bad day. This is what we do. And you're going to be here tomorrow, and it's going to be okay." It was so powerful. And I thought, how do we capture that? Sometimes we all don't have a video camera or multiple cameras on a TV show kind of set. But we can tell the stories that take place and that capture what we stand for and why we do what we do. One of the things I got a privilege of doing is serving on a consulting team that worked with the executive level C-suite of a hospital, and worked with that leadership team for several years. And I remember the leader of the team at one point in time capturing what I'll call a Mary Johnson story. And in about, 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll do it in 30 seconds, captured why we exist. In effect saying, from the moment we got the call that Mary Johnson was coming into the emergency room, to the people that did the intake, to the people that made sure finances were in place and working to support her, whether she needed insurance or whatever, to the technical teams that met her, to the radiologists and others that gathered around to try to diagnose what's going on with her, to the attending doctors and physicians that were on call, to the nursing staff. And he went around the room and said, "This is why you're the chief financial officer. Because what you do helps Mary Johnson get supported. This is why you're the chief nursing officer, because your teams of nurses are deployed accurately and by different floors and shifts and all their expertise to serve the Mary Johnsons. And this is why you as chief medical officer deploy and engage with the various physician groups that we have so that the right people are on call at the right time to address the right needs, and they're available to bring their expertise." And on around the room, human resources, and on and on. It's such a beautiful picture, but he actually told the story of Mary Johnson, I'm using her name, from kind of start to finish, and how after she was discharged, even what the follow-up care was like, and kind of sat back in the chair and said, "This is why we sit in a circle every week for 4 hours and wrestle with the issues we wrestle with and all the things we do as an administrative leadership staff, so the Mary Johnsons of the world have the best experience that they can have when they need it the most." It was remarkable, And you need to be able to capture the iconic stories that describe what you're trying to do and achieve, and to tell them and to show them to your team. It will keep them focused, and it will transform the culture.